Hi everyone, I'm Sangwoo Kim. Today I have prepared an interview with Anurag. He is Vice President of Analytics at Fetch Rewards Company. According to Fetch Rewards homepage, this company gathers customers' receipt data and provide related points to them, and also provide related information for suppliers. So I hope you enjoyed this video to understand how they use data for their business and also some tips related to data scientists. Thank you. Hi, okay, Anurag. So thanks for giving me a chance interview today. Yeah, I really appreciate your time and support. So,
It's good to know.
as you know, I recently have opened my YouTube channel. So one of the contents is to share real business experience related to data analysis. So,
Mhm.
as on like starting point for interview. So could you introduce yourself a little bit more focused on your professional working experience and your current company?
Yeah, I'm Anurag and I lead the data science analytics team at Fetch Rewards. Um, Fetch Rewards is the rewards platform for shoppers. Basically, at Fetch, we strive to develop a one-to-one connection between shoppers and brands. So, if you're a Fetch Rewards app user, can scan your receipt, a physical receipt, or submit an e-receipt from any purchase that you've made at a grocery store, a department store, at a restaurant, liquor store, wherever. And you earn points for doing that. Then you earn even more points if you happen to have interacted or made a purchase of a brand that we partner with. And we partner with like hundreds of brands right now, especially in the grocery space. And you earn a lot more points if you happen to make that purchase during a time when we are running a special promotion for
Mhm.
that particular brand. So it's pretty simple. As a user, you keep earning points. 1,000 points equal $1, and we currently operate only in United States, so it's $1. And then you can redeem those dollars for variety of options, hundreds of different gift cards, contribute to charities, things of that nature. So you can imagine that given this business model, there is a lot of data about shopping, and my team, data science and analytics team, does everything about that data, whether it's data quality, data management, business analysis, as well as any machine learning initiatives that we might choose to embark on for improving the product or giving value back to partners. Prior to Fetch Rewards, I've been with Fetch for about 3 years now. And prior to Fetch, I've been in analytics, data science all my professional life. Typically, have worked with smaller companies, startups, small to mid-sized companies. The last big company I worked for was Dunnhumby, where I worked across different accounts like Macy's, Best Buy, Tesco Asia. So that's kind of my background.
All right. So yeah, very many different types of working experience you have, right? Okay. So you said that your company actually gathers like receipt data to analyze customer shopping behavior. So of course there are more than that. So could you share what kind of data you analyze the most in this company, and also for what? Yeah, something like customer loyalty or whatever. Yeah.
Sure. So essentially, there are two categories of data at Fetch Rewards. One is the receipts, whether physical or electronic, that was submitted. If it's a physical receipt, then it goes through a whole like OCR style process to convert it into data.
Mhm.
If it's electronic, then it goes through a different kind of process. But essentially, they all lead to transaction style data, right? Almost like a point of sale style data that you would otherwise get from a POS system. So that's one category. The other category is more to do with the data that our app generates. So, for example, if there was a special promotion that we were running and a user participated in that promotion, everything around it would lead to that app style data. In any app-based businesses, there's always impressions data. So, how are users interacting with the app? What are they clicking? How much time they're spending on a specific real estate, things of that nature. So there are broadly two categories: transaction and app.
Right. So I think your company is very advanced, like a company to analyze customer data. So as you know, this YouTube channel is to help people understand statistics and learn statistics. So when you are leading like a data science team, right? So as you mentioned, so in business area, which is statistical analysis tool or analysis you use the most often, such as like a regression or a clustering, whatever. Could you explain that?
Sure. And before I go into statistics specifically, let me outline essentially three groups of initiatives that we work on. So one is, as I mentioned earlier, business analysis, where there's a business problem, a business question. We need to figure out insights and provide that back to whoever that requester is. In our case, you can always think of us as a unit, a data science unit that's working with the brands, external brands that we partner with, as well as internal teams, the product teams, right? Because data science caters to both. So whenever I say stakeholders, I typically mean both external and internal stakeholders,
Okay.
and providing business analysis back to both of them. There's second group is machine learning, advanced data science initiatives, and the third group is data quality, data management. And all of these three have stakeholders, both external and internal. In terms of application of statistics, I would say more around the business analysis, data quality. I would say it's more around like central measures of data, outlier treatment, outlier detection, using central measures, standard deviation, things of that nature, to really figure out one, uh, if we are able to funnel our data quality into more of like believable data, right? So if you think of OCR, for example, sometimes OCR can have outliers, right? Sometimes a decimal point can be shifted a couple of zeros, and suddenly you're buying $1,000 12-pack beer, right? Which does not make sense. So being able to figure out the outliers so that the data that we use for analysis, reporting, apply panels on is all clean is where some of these statistics get applied. There's regression, of course, and it gets used a lot, both regression and clustering. So, whether it's linear regression, logistic regression, depending on the problem at hand. So, if, for example, you're running a promotion on our app and we want to run promotions for a user and really personalize the experience, we want to show a user promotion that really makes sense for them, right? And what a promotion that they're likely to go for. So that's where techniques like regression get applied, or if it's clustering, it's basically ability to segment users, not just like for our own internal use. So like whether it's simple RFM based or whether it's more advanced, whether it's K-means hierarchical, but essentially being able to create segments of users based on their interaction with the app for internal stakeholders, and for external, it will be more on the lines of shopping behavior, lifestyle choices, price sensitivity. So those are the techniques that we use a lot. And then from last year onward, we started investing a bit more on some more advanced techniques like deep learning for some of the image detection, and then really use models as and when required. So, for example, if regression is not cutting it, let's try out random forest, let's try out an ensemble model. So, we're trying to keep ourselves agnostic of the technique, or not really be married to a technique, but really think about the problem at hand and then figure out what is a smart solution. Sometimes smart solutions don't even need modeling, so just basically approach a problem and take it on its merit.
Yeah, so I agree with you. So to be a good analyst, we need to understand business problem, and also we need to check like data quality, such as like garbage in, like garbage out. So and then we need to like apply our advanced analytic knowledge or capability. Yeah, so I agree with you. So as you mentioned, to detect outliers or to do any like statistical analysis, There are many good statistical softwares in the world, such as like SAS, SPSS, or R, or Python. So, in your case, which tool do you recommend for students who want to be a data scientist?
Sure. So we are actually relatively tool agnostic. And when I joined Fetch 3 years back, it was still a startup. Now Fetch is actually almost like a young company. We've really grown. So when I joined, we obviously didn't have the investments to make in expensive software like SaaS, and also acknowledging that if we really wanted to be scalable and cutting edge, we needed to be tool agnostic. That said, the two languages that we do use very frequently are SQL for analysis and then Python most of the times. We do all our modeling on Spark today. Because of the size of our data, we do need the power of distributed computing. So Apache Spark is a platform of choice for us, and that's where we run our SQL and Python scripts. We also leverage Snowflake for data warehouse. So we are able to apply SQL on Snowflake data warehouse, whether it's structured data or even if it's like JSON format data. Snowflake does a good job of surfacing that. We use Tableau for visualization and visual analytics, whether it's for the data scientists or whether it's for the more of the business intelligence style teams who are not technically savvy in terms of programming, but they do know their way around data. So just empowering them to work with Tableau to do some self-serving business analysis, as well as standing up Tableau-based dashboards and reports for external partners to get insights like trial and repeat and campaign analysis, cross shop, market basket analysis, things of that nature. So that's where we use Tableau. So these are the tools that we use today.
Yeah, just for Korean YouTube subscribers, when you say SQL, it means like SQL, right?
SQL, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the final question. So do you have any like comments or advice about becoming a data science? So there are many students who wants to be a data scientist in the future. So could you share your advice for whom? Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is actually one of my favorite questions anytime I've contributed to an interview, because I feel like there's so much that I've learned based on the journey that I've had starting as a business analyst and then working across different roles, that I wish I could go back in time and tell myself. So I'm happy to help there. So one thing that I've realized, and I'm trying to invest my time and energy a lot more in, but it's a philosophy or it's a way of life that gets lost sometimes, and that's to never stop learning, right? Like you just have to keep learning because things are getting outdated so fast. Like nothing, I love SaaS, and SaaS is still very relevant in current times, but like it's not the industry standard that it used to be years back, right? Just few years back. And technology is changing. Amazon is really pulling the big guns in terms of like they have this ecosystem called AWS SageMaker that we also use, that just gives you such a service-based approach to building models, right? And then there's Google. So the technology is changing. The lines are blurring between data scientists, data analysts, data engineers, data visualizers. The lines are blurring. So the important thing is to never stop learning. Always try to be tool agnostic, meaning don't just become like a Python expert, and that's my suggestion, but don't be like a Python expert. Be very good at Python, but then also try to learn everything else so that you're language agnostic, because tools are means to an end, right? Like it's equivalent to saying that I am the best in the world at hitting a nail with a hammer, but that doesn't get you anything, right? If you really need to be a good handyman, then you need to know all the tools, right? The third thing I would call out is a framework that we try to use a lot within our team, and that's based on linked to what you said earlier, which is a value-based approach. So typically what happens is, whenever you have an objective, you typically look at what data you have, then you try to figure out whatever insights you can get. It's instead of that approach, what I recommend doing is more like a reverse funnel. So think of the value that you are looking to drive, then think about the actions that can be taken to achieve that kind of value, then think about the insights that can lead to those kind of actions, then think about the information pool that you need to be able to find those insights, and then think about all the data that you need to even like get that information in the first place. But the moment you start doing that reverse funnel or reverse pyramid, whatever the name you might want to call approach, you're suddenly very focused on value, and you end up digressing minimally. As a data scientist, you'll still have explorations that might have dead end, and that's okay. But if you apply this kind of approach, more often than not, you will be actually working on something and delivering something that does have some sort of value. So that framework approach, the earlier someone starts adopting that, the better, the smarter analysts they would become. And the fourth and the most important thing that I would call out is like, don't stop having fun, right? Like you have to have fun, because otherwise data can be a very intimidating world to live in.
Yeah.
So important that you have fun and figure out ways, like yourself, Sangwoo, that figure out ways where you can work on things that actually are fun for you. That's how you will sustain and have a longevity associated with this whole journey. These are some like 2 cents.
Wow, so there are plenty of things students should learn. As your final message, we need to enjoy what we are doing. So I think that is the best tip, I think. So, all right. So, thank you for our interview today. I think someone who watches this video will be very useful to decide to make a decision about their career and career development, right? Right. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Happy to be
Anurag,
of.
all right. So, take care and please be safe from COVID-19. And yeah, let's keep in touch.
You too. All right. Take
All
care.
right.
Good
Thank you.
luck. Bye.